Blue streak speeds by, steals all your possessions. 'Cause Sonic, he's gonna die. Pull out your shotguns. Everybody, welcome back to Drak and Shadow. We've got some news to talk about. I'm gonna stop singing now. But
You're the fastest thing alive.
Well, it's been a while since we.
Yeah, I think we're just calling these episodes now Drak and Shadow Rants. Because that's really what they are.
Yeah. It's been a while, though, since we did anything Sonic Boom related. We gave our first impressions of the TV series. We talked about, wow, the news about the game when it seemed like good news instead of just horrible news. And now Sega's come out and collectively the entire Sonic fandom wants to slap them all upside the head. And I do want to give them a good kick in the pants.
We're okay. The Sonic fan base minus at least one wants to slap them upside the head. Okay, I'm just gonna point this out right now. You can keep. I'm gonna let you finish. But I'm not completely sold that this is the most horrible thing ever happened yet. So go ahead.
Okay, so this week, after a whirlwind of rumors about the alleged Sonic Mach 2, I'll get on that in just a bit, but
We heard a rumor.
We've had finally the big announcement out of Sega, and that is Sonic Boom Fire and Ice for the Nintendo 3DS. Exclusive to the 3DS, there's not going to be a Wii U version, naturally. This is developed by Sanzuru Games, who developed Shattered Crystal for the 3DS.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So first of all, do we know that this is the Sonic Mach 2 game that we've been hearing about? We don't.
We don't. And here's the thing, because more recent rumors and updates. Apparently, the voice for Rouge the Bat. I don't actually know who voices Rouge the Bat now, at least not since circa Generations, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's apparently, and this is the American voice for Rouge the Bat, not like a random German actor, but they updated on their own resume Sonic Mach 2. Now, Rouge the Bat, as far as we know, isn't in Sonic Fire and Ice.
Yes.
If she is,
so that's why we're saying we don't know that this is Mach 2 because the Rouge the Bat pretty much confirms that. Because Rouge has not been in the Sonic Boom franchise.
Yeah, thus far anyway.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
She could show up, but we haven't seen it.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get this announcement. Sonic Boom Fire and Ice. Like I said, 3DS. It's the sequel to Shattered Crystal. It's another continuation of the Sonic Boom franchise.
Clarify this for me. Were Rise of Lyric and Shattered Crystal connected in some way?
Superficially, I think. I don't think they were hardcore connected.
It wasn't like one was first and the other one was second or anything
right.
like that.
And all we could say is, Sega, what is wrong with you? I mean, Adam probably disagrees with me here, but I'm kind of having to join the chorus of negativity. It's like, Sega, hello, it's anybody home, huh? Think, McFly, think. Sorry, I had to do that, but
that's all right. It's all right.
Because I said this before. Sonic Boom, it might as well be considered a stillborn franchise. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is the worst selling Sonic game in the entire history of the franchise.
The cartoon series hasn't done well, and that's mainly because of Cartoon Network.
I think the cartoon series actually is doing fairly well.
It's doing fairly well, but considering, like, I'm still going to say that Cartoon Network literally put it on a death knell when it launched.
But yeah, and well, there's even talk of Sonic Boom movies, but so I think the cartoon is doing well enough. But Rise of Lyric was really, it was horrible. It's critically panned. It's like I said, the worst selling game in the entire history of this franchise.
No. It wasn't a game because it wasn't finished.
Whatever.
I hate to bring that up, boys and girls, but literally a broken game, as far as I'm concerned, that didn't even sound like it had a beta stage. That's not a game to me. That's something that's a beta version.
Yeah.
That's what Sonic Boom was. If you could
beta.
literally skip like 30 minutes of the game instantly by bugging it, that's not a game. That's not a story to be able to take you on. That's a broken beta or alpha test.
Yeah, barely even that. I mean, goodness. So we have to question, many of us anyway, have to question the wisdom of bringing out this another Sonic Boom game. Now, in fairness, I guess, Shattered Crystal was a little more mixed reception compared to Sonic Boom, which is almost universally panned, or I should say Rise of Lyric, which is universally panned. Shattered Crystal, a bit more mixed on that end, and I don't know the sales figures for that. I just know that Rise of Lyric only pushed about 500k copies.
Well, let's find out, because I actually want to get the sales figures, but keep talking.
So many of us have a problem with this because, as I said, Sonic Boom, it might as well be just considered a stillborn franchise. I think Sega, you're making a mistake by trying to keep it going. Let the TV series run its course, fine. Then abandon this. I'm sorry, as much as we give crap to Sega for abandoning concepts too quickly, this is definitely not a concept you want.
Okay, so the scores for Shattered Crystal were fairly low.
Yeah.
Game Rankings had it at 47%. Metacritic had 47. Destructoid 2.5. Games Radar had it at a 3.5 out of 5. No, 2.5 out of 5. IGN had 4 out of 10. 2 out of 10 from Slant Magazine. Its overall sales figures. I actually don't see it in here. Maybe it didn't do very well, but let me.
It probably didn't.
Keep talking, and then I'll see if I can find the numbers here.
So, I just there's not much more I can say. This is just a terrible, terrible, terrible idea to continue this when you are literally continuing your death nail, and fans have been screaming for the last 2 years, fickle we may be, what have we been screaming for? Generally, it's either Generations 2 or Adventure 3. Or Adventure 4, or whatever you want to call it, because we all know what Sonic 06 technically is. But yet you keep not delivering that. You keep going off on your own direction. I get it. We're hard to please. We are the most obnoxious bunch ever, Sonic fans are. I totally get it.
Especially if we're hammering centimeters of legs.
Blue fucking arms and...
Yeah, and green eyes. Now, I actually looked up the numbers, so they actually merged the number of copies with Rise of Lyric, so we can't get an actual amount, but... If they had to merge the numbers with Rise of Lyric, that's not a good sign.
That's really bad.
Because Rise of Lyric is considered not one of the lowest selling Sonic game.
It is. It is the worst in the the worst seller in the franchise.
So yeah, that's not a good sign. But let me play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Because when Alex brought this stuff to me, this is like the first time where I'm like. Because Alex doesn't usually go along the lines of I'm going to follow the Sonic fan base and agree with them on a matter. And so I found it really quick of him to just immediately go shoot, take out the shotgun and shoot him. First of all, let me play devil's advocate here, guys. This is from Sanzaro Games, the same people who did Shattered Crystal, which tells me contract. Okay. Sanzaru probably signed a contract with Sega, and it looks like Sega of Europe and Nintendo of Europe, to do a distribution agreement for Sonic Boom. Probably a couple of games, not just one, because that's usually how those deals kind of go. So that's one. That's how this feels to me, because oddly enough, Fire and Ice doesn't really look like an interesting or unique title. Kind of like Shattered Crystal and kind of like Rise of Lyric. So it really looks to me like a contract game, like Sanzaro has to fulfill that obligation. However, again, let me play devil's advocate here. Have we confirmed whether or not Sanzaro at least has learned from Shattered Crystal? Have they learned, like, I don't know a lot of the reviews for Shattered Crystal, but I know that it was not called as broken as Rise of Lyric. So, am I fair in saying that?
I think you are.
Okay. So at that point, if there were mistakes to be made with Sonic Boom, Shattered Crystal, have they learned from those? I would like to be the optimistic person and say, yes, they have. Have they learned the appropriate lessons? I won't know until I actually play the game. And truth be told, this whole talk has actually made me want to go see if I can get Shattered Crystal for cheap, just to see how it is. But the bottom line is that this reeks to me of contract game, has to be done, so we might as well just muscle through it. But hey, here's the thing. If Sanzaru learned from their past sins of Shattered Crystal, and this actually turns out to be a better game, well, that would be an improvement, I would think.
Well, they did tweet, "It will be better than before."
Okay, that tells me nothing. That's marketing speech.
Yes, that is pure marketing drivel speech.
And it would be also one of those things where, Alex, I love you dearly, don't ever follow the official company tweets.
I never do.
You follow the developer tweets, because then at that point you see what they're actually doing. And here's the thing too, some developers are literally instructed never go to social media with this stuff. Like their non-disclosure agreements are included.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot say anything in social media. So when you get the occasional developer like Koji Igarashi coming out and saying something, you take that for whatever gold it is, because there's probably not going to be more of it. So I'm at least somewhat optimistic. I have a feeling this is going to show up at E3. I have a feeling it's going to be part of the 3DS section, and we will be able to start hearing from people like, I know Pro Jared, I think, is going out there, and Screw Attack is going out there, so I'm interested in seeing Ben Singer, who's like their resident Sonic fan, and he actually tends to agree with the Sonic fan base. So I'm interested to see what he thinks on the matter. But
my problem with the whole idea that this is contractual obligation, well, bullshit to that, I can only say, because Sega, why, even if this is contractual, why would you keep it going? Because clearly this would be something Sega's in charge of. I mean, unless Sanzaru is going to threaten to sue you, but why would anyone threaten to sue when you've made a flop?
Mm-hmm.
And
I think mainly a lot of that could also be that, okay, and I even said this to you in a text.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if Big Red Button had this exact same contract. However, with Big Red Button, they could sue you, but really, would a judge side with Big Red Button on that matter? Because Sega could literally come out, and even though they supervised it, and the judge will say, you should have known better, a judge could come out and literally say, yeah, this agreement is null and void, you developed an inferior product.
Yeah.
Which is against the contract that you had signed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's necessarily the case with Sanzaru, and I think that may be why that contract hasn't necessarily been, quote, terminated. We're going to be using a lot of legalese here. So, it also may be that Sanzaru, like, Sega literally thinks they did the better of the two and wants to give them another shot. And that's the thing. Like, I get such flack for saying that Team Ninja deserves another shot at Metroid. Okay? Metroid fans hate it when I say that. But the bottom line is that they didn't do a bad job with the property. This is kind of how I feel the Sonic fan base is reacting to this.
Mm-hmm.
All right? In the fact that, okay, a 3DS game that not really anybody talked about because Rise of Lyric, and we're already harping on the other company even though they weren't Big Red Button. Okay, if Shattered Crystal was a fairly good game and Big Red Button developed it, then we could harp on it. Because at that point you're like, okay, we should have taken some of the Shattered Crystal team and put them on Rise of Lyric. But yeah, that's what this really feels like, is that the fan base here is not really giving it a chance, and not even giving a developer a second chance to be able to show they've learned. And as gamers, we can do better than that. We can give them a second chance. If they fail that one, good on you. Because that's, like, at that point, I follow a 3-strike rule. That would be 2 strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe hand it over to somebody else. But obviously you do not agree with me on this.
It's mostly on the premise that you're still continuing off Sonic Boom. Okay, maybe you want to give Sanzaru a second shot at it. Fair enough. Then call it something new. And retool what you have. I'm sure this has at least been a couple of years in development, probably. Video games take a while.
Yeah, but that also could be a Sega branding thing.
Yeah, it's just a mistake, though, because it's like, Sega, hello, Sonic Boom tanked, and now it's kind of like '06. It's now going to be synonymous with terrible, poor quality. And now it's just afflicting the franchise as a whole. At least with, like, Metroid, nobody says, oh, other M's sucked. Well, gee, maybe all the other Metroids suck, too.
Oh, no. There are people within the Metroid fan base that think every other game aside from the Prime games sucked. There are people who think that the Prime games and everything else rocks. It happens, and it's just as divided as the Sonic fan base can be on some of the games.
Okay.
Like, you're one of the few that likes Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Sonic fan base roughly hates it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. So at that, we're the hipsters of those movements. I really do think we really do need to get a plaid shirt and talk about stuff that we thought was cool before anybody thought was cool.
I think ultimately, though, you shouldn't keep going with a brand that's only going to hurt you. That Sonic Boom is not going to... People are going to see Sonic Boom and they're going to stay away from it.
I agree with you. I think this is a bad choice by Sega. And I think the main reason the choice exists is because it's kind of the thing that came to my mind when Sonic Boom got first introduced is, wow, Sega was really trying to get away from the whole Sonic 06 stigma that came across. So it isn't Sonic the Hedgehog anymore. It's Sonic Boom. And that's really how that came across to me. And that's how this feels too. Is they don't want to be remembered for '06, but now they're also known for Rise of Lyric, so they're like, well, we spent all this money on doing all this branding, so we might as well go with it.
I say cut your losses, Sega, and move on, and, I'm definitely, I'm saying, I'm not against the idea, of course, of Sega taking a little break from Sonic for a while, of course. Right, but I mean, I understand why they keep pumping out games. It's their bestseller. It's their main flagship franchise.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Nintendo took 3 years without ever putting out a Mario game. It just wouldn't happen.
Although some Nintendo fans are calling for that.
Understandably, because there was such a saturation last year. But,
yes.
But at the same point, I think Sega... It's cut your losses on Boom. This is a stillborn franchise. It's not going anywhere. People are going to see Sonic Boom, and they're going to run away from it. They're going to run away fast because they're going to think Rise of Lyric, or they're going to think the mediocre Shattered Crystal, and they're not going to go back. This is just going to kick you in the ass some more.
And on top of that, it's they're going to think Rise of Lyric, the worst game since Sonic 2006.
Yes.
Oh.
And all I can say is, if this was an '06 sequel, you'd be totally agreeing with me right now.
If Rise of Lyric was?
No, I'm talking.
If this was an Fire and Ice was an '06 sequel, yeah. Yes, I would probably be on board with you, because that is completely, that was absolute shite that Sega had pumped out. But I will say this again, and Sonic fans are gonna hate me for saying it because they want their yearly Sonic game. We need a break. We need a break from Sonic. Sonic Team needs to work on something else. They need to go dig something else out of the Sega vault, because I really do think they've run out of ideas. And at that point, that already hurts the franchise, because you're not coming up with anything new. So take a break, maybe skip the 25th anniversary, and go straight to the 30th. All right? And then bring Sonic back full force after you've had like a couple of years to work on another title and maybe come up with some ideas for Sonic. All right. I'm not saying get rid of, like, to the Sonic fan base that is going to scream at me and go, no, you want them to abandon it. No, I don't want them to abandon it, but it's clear to me they don't have any new ideas. So at that point, let's just let the thing go into dormancy and you can work on something else in the meantime. All right. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe an Altered Beast remake would give them the ideas they need for a Sonic game. Maybe while they're working in the mobile market, they could figure out something legit to do with Sonic. One of the things I found interesting was the video that Alex put up for us to see actually had a Sonic game that looked somewhat fun to play. And I think that was the mobile game. And it actually almost made me want to go out and play it.
Yeah, but it's mobile, so I really doubt it.
I'd play it because I play mobile games too. So I think we've kind of hammered this, I think, as much as we can, but that's kind of the bottom line. Is this really just looks like, again, there are no ideas here. I know Sonic Mach 2 is coming,
Supposedly,
but we also know that Sonic Team isn't working on it, so we can wait for that announcement because it's probably coming at E3. That would be a really good stage for them to announce it, either that or Tokyo Game Show, which would be in August. So Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, I can already tell you right off the bat, I probably won't pick it up right away. But this has encouraged me to go pick up Shattered Crystal, just to see if it's as bad as Rise of Lyric, and see whether or not this franchise is doomed, or stillborn. So. But have we hit all the points that we wanted to hit?
I think so.
Okay. So we'll see you guys next time for the next Drak and Shadow Rants, where Drak has to do some venting. Drak and Shadow Rants. The therapy session.